Welcome to the podcast of Educators Without Borders. Today we have Ummu Atiyah from Malaysia. She will be sharing her experience in women leadership and education. Please.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Abbas and Educators Without Borders for this invitation. This topic is very close to my heart, looking at the issues of female leadership and education. In Malaysia, I think elsewhere is also the same thing. The scenario of the underrepresentation of female leadership at the top position, at the higher education level, as well as I think at the higher education level, at a higher post. But you can see a lot of teachers are women. But when it comes to the higher posts, we can find lack of female leaders in that. So to some, it is not a problem. But to me, there is something, important things missing there. Because when you have diversity in leadership, so you'll be able to have different inputs and perspective as well as experience. So I think with female leadership, it can add to more values, to the system. We hope to see more women, to be holding higher position.
You had a prime minister, deputy prime minister there.
Yeah, it was before.
Yeah.
For a brief period of time.
Yeah.
Yes. So as we are speaking today, Malaysia, we have not have the top position of women in the government, for instance. We have at the ministerial level, but the number of women never exceed 5 out of like 40 or 35 or over 30s. So we are looking forward to have that revolution, in terms of representation.
But in schools and universities, I think there are a lot of women students representation.
Yes. As students, we are reaching more than 70% of women as a students. And boys and men are missing, at the higher institutions. So this is, I think, a national crisis as well. Where are they, right? So we need research, to find the answers. Because
they are beaten in the race, I think, competition.
But I think it's not healthy, for the country growth. We need balance, train human resource, men and women. So it has been a talk in my country, but there is no systematic research to really explore where are the men, where are the young men, I think that is one area that we should look into.
Yeah. So what you suggest for that, how we develop all the things,
Okay. As we followed the symposium yesterday, education is very important. It is a weapon, like one of the panelists reflected what Mandela said. Education is the means for growth. It's a mean for development. So if we do not empower our people with education, then we are not going anywhere. So to me, anywhere in the world, I think you need to really look into to have the best system according to your country, according to my country. Like in my country, for instance, as the result of the pandemic, we still find that students are grappling with the 3 skills, to read, to count, and to read, to count, and to what? Three skills, sorry. So because of the disruption, of the school system, we found that some group are left behind. So I think in the context of Malaysia, the ministry has to focus on this particular left group on how to really empower themselves of this basic skill. Because when you wanted to have a surviving skill, more resilient in terms of economy and survival, they need to empower this basic skill. Yeah. So I think moving forward, although we are so excited with new technology, with innovations, and even Malaysia, we are achieving gender parity in education. Yet there are certain groups that are still left behind. So I hope the ministry will look into this and ensure that everybody will be empowered in terms of education.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I think that there are a lot of universities having caliber women like you, and there were rectors in different universities.
Exactly.
How do you see these things, especially women working more in educational
Yeah.
areas?
Yes. We had female VCs, female rectors and president. We look into it. We look forward to have more, but because of the appointment of the president and VCs are actually political appointment, so it is very challenging in the Malaysia context. But from a lot of discussion, they say that there is no difference between having female and male VCs. Yeah, it is a matter of the effectiveness of being leaders, isn't it? But to me, I have some reservation about that. Although there is a truth about that as well, but I want to take a space, for people to really look into these issues, because it really is men and women have different perspective, right? For instance, I would like to draw an attention to a certain case. For instance, I had involved in one discussion, being in the management. There was one foreign academics, the issue was for her extension. And at that time, she was having a baby. So in the contract, there is no provision to cover confinement, because the contract were looking at men. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, got it.
So at that in that particular meeting, I was the only female present.
Oh.
In the management position. So I was able to look into that aspect.
Yeah.
But the rest, they see that she can take annual leave, but there is a specific rights for a laborer, right?
Yes.
For a staff.
Yes.
So that is something missing, So that's why we need female perspective. It's good to have diversity, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. I agree with.
Yeah.
And also, this is time of the new technologies and the media, new medias. How do you think the female involvement in that, and how much it helped to educate the female?
Oh, okay. This is a very important question. In the context that I'm now, because I in the higher education sector, I see that even female are championing on that technology. It helps to really expose student men and women, to access to more education, facilities and content, right? But even having said that, evidently speaking, we still see that there is the technological gap. Especially if you go to the community, we found that female are actually still lag behind in terms of accessibility to technology, especially in the these vulnerable communities. And in my engagement in communities recently, during the Ramadan recently, I have the opportunity to go to the ground for community services. To my surprise, I found many female-headed households are in acute poverty. So this particular society, I think the education sector need to look into it on how to really improve and help this community to be resilient and to be empowered. So I think technology is one of the way. I don't have any idea how to do it, but I look into some positive opportunities that educators has to really look into this group.
Thank you so much for joining us and giving these inputs, especially on the women issues. And hopefully we will work together in future.
I look forward to, yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abbas.